Hi, this is Tom with Outdoor Miles, and today we have a review for you of the Rondout Valley RV Campground located in upstate New York in the Hudson Valley and just a stone's throw away from the Catskill Mountains. We have some aerial footage of the campground that you can see right now, and then we'll be taking a walk through the campground, and I'll point out some of the unique features, amenities, and activities that you can expect if you come to visit. If you find this review useful, it would be great if you can click the like button down below and also consider subscribing to the Outdoor Miles channel, where we'll have lots more RV related content, product reviews, campground reviews, and things to help you enjoy your RV lifestyle. So welcome to the review of the Rondout Valley Campground in Accord, New York. I'm going to take you on a little walk of the campground, show you around, and point out some of the things that you might want to know, call out some of the best sites that you might want to camp at, and so just enjoy. So the campground entrance is that away, a little ways. We'll walk up towards there, and when you get up there, and you're entering the park, you'll cross the first of two streams that kind of encompass the campground. So there are a lot of sites where you can get some waterfront camping along a stream. And then there's also a large pond in the middle of the campground, which I say large, it's actually a small pond. But I'll go ahead and let you guys take a look at this. It's really good for fishing. So if you have kids or you yourself like to fish, this is a great place to go fishing. On the back side here, you can see the woodlands. I'll reference this a few times when I'm giving you the tour. Most of the sites over there are tent sites, except for the sites where you can see the RVs there, and then right along the pond and up on that route there, you can get RVs in there. There's only a few full hookup source sites back there. They all have electric and water. But I love it back there. It's a great place, and there is a honey wagon service. So if you do end up back there and you need to dump, you can pay, I think it's $15 for one service. So up here is the pool. We'll take a walk by that a little bit later. There's some construction going on right now. I'll show you that later, but they're putting in a jump pad. There's a large field here. And then this loop here is called the pool loop, and it wraps all the way around the pool to where we are now. And if you think about the campground, there's two kind of sections of it. I feel there's this side of the campground, and then when you go over on the other side across from the pool, we'll walk over there and I'll show you all of the sites over there. But this is a really great area, especially if you have kids. This is the area where you might want to be. It's a little bit more active, but you have the pool right here. You'll have the jump pad. You're going to have the activity center and the parks down here, which we'll take a walk by and look at. All right, well, let's get to it. So here in the field, they have some different games: horseshoes, shuffleboard, bocce ball, volleyball court, volleyball net. They have a large fire pit here, so if you want to come down with a large group, you can have a fire down here, or a lot of times they'll have group activities and they'll have that going. I think a few times a year they have like a s'mores night where you can come down and kids can roast s'mores. This is the recreation center. There are 2 restrooms right here. But the recreation center is kind of the hub of everything that's happening in the campground. If there are kids activities or arts and crafts, almost all of the time they take place in here. A lot of times they'll have different picnics and cookouts, and they'll kind of station in here. There are a few arcade games. Here they're set up for Easter. Here there is a snack bar, which is kind of a small little convenience type of what they call it, the goodie shop, food station where you can get burgers or fried food, candy, ice cream. They normally will open up at the end of April and stay open through the end of the season. But it's really good, and it's really affordable, especially if you don't feel like cooking. All right, here we have the playgrounds. There are 1 playground area, but 2 sets of playground equipment. They have one for the little bit bigger kids with a climbing wall, slides, all of the fun stuff they like to do. I have a 5-year-old daughter. She loves it down here. And then if you have little ones, they have a miniature version of that as well. They have a fun little train here. The kids love that, and they just painted it last year. It's a little bit dingy right now, but it looks so much better than it did a few years ago. There are some cabins here. I don't think any of these are for rent, except maybe the one on the end. I think these might be permanent sites. But there are some down here and scattered throughout the campground that you can rent. They did build, probably about a dozen new cabins for rent, and they look really nice. I haven't been inside them, but they definitely do look nice. How's it going? Good. Okay, now when you first come here, you'll see that the roads are kind of all over the place. So just get your sense of direction before you start driving through. But there is a lane right here which takes you up to the woodlands, and we'll walk up there in just a little bit. But then there's also a backside here, which also will take you back there. Pretty much any road you take will eventually loop around and get you somewhere where you need to be. There are no dead ends. So if you are pulling your camper, or even if it's a large one, most areas you'll be fine to just keep going until you can turn around. There is one section out of the woodlands where it gets a little bit narrow. I had my 30-foot travel trailer down there and it was fine, but if you have a big coach, you may not want to go back on that dirt road. But you really have to make a big mistake to go back there. It's not very obvious. So I wanted to walk over here because I absolutely love this area. This doesn't get filled up very much in the early season or the late season. And one of the reasons is because other than maybe 2 or 3 sites over here where the RVs are now, they're not full hookups. Same with over here, there's not many full hookups along this side, but I think they start up by the bathroom, there are a few. But I'll show you my favorite spot in the whole campground. And it's not a full hookup, but it is right here. And it's a little bit, it's early spring, there's nothing, no leaves on the trees, so it looks a little dreary out, but this is a nice big open grassy area right by the water. And the best thing is, this is an awesome swimming hole. The water is up really high, We had some floodwaters not too long ago, maybe about a week ago, and the water was actually up to the bank here. So in the summer, this will drop down a lot. You can actually hang out on the rocks over here. We would take inner tubes up and we would kind of float down here and go back up, but it's really, really great. Nice gravel bottom, but it's a really fun place to go swimming. And if you camp right here in this nice wide open area, you have the whole area to yourself. People do come down here and they go swimming, but it doesn't get very crowded, and it's just a really nice place to be in the summer. Now, up here we do have a number of other RV sites. I think I stand corrected that a lot of these, from where you see the campers right now on up through to the woodlands, are full hookup source sites. There are a few here that are just water and electric, but I do believe all those ones up there might be, because I'm seeing all of the sewer lines right here. There may not be any right over here. But anyway, the map is really great. So if you do have questions about what is a full hookup or not, you can definitely reference the map. This is Forest Lane, Squirrel Boulevard, in case you want any reference. There are a number of sites down here. A lot of times you'll get some smaller RVs in here, and the campers you see in the very far distance there, they are annual sites, I believe, but there are maybe about 3 or 4 sites right along the entrance by the creek up there as well. So I'm just backtracking here, and there's a really big tree. This was came down in the storm 2 years ago, I believe. But that was a big storm that we had through. And as I walk up here, you can see the main entrance there, that building in the distance. I don't know if you can see it on the video. That's the camp office. People are coming in right now. There is a one-way bridge, not one way, one vehicle bridge. So if you are coming or going, you likely have to stop and wait for somebody to go, or they'll do the same. And I'm gonna just go ahead and walk up here, show you a few more things. This is a dog park that they just put in over the winter, I believe, or if it was here last year, I completely missed it. But this is a nice place where if you do have, you know, some small dogs, you want to get them to run around, you can definitely bring them in here. It's definitely not big enough to get your big pointers or labs to run off a lot of energy, but you can definitely bring them down here. If your dog is with you though, outside of the dog park, they need to be leashed at all times, and they do enforce that. So just be careful with your dog and keep them leashed. Okay, here are a few of the other sites that I said right by the entrance here. And the only other thing I want to show you besides the office, I'm not going to go in there, I think they're actually closed. But when you do come in, and if you're coming in during a busy time, you'll see RVs lined up around this loop here. This is the RV loop, so when you come in through the entrance, just come down, go right around the big loop here, park here, go in, check in, get your spot, and then you can come back out and pull out. So that's that for the entrance. Now we're going to take a walk back. Again, I'm going to backtrack where I came from. And I think I'll walk up this other lane over here and walk back towards the woodlands, give you a sense of what that area looks like. And then we'll take a little break, and then I'll head over onto the far side of the campground and show you the sites over there. But one of the things that you can definitely notice about this campground, it's not your typical straight lined big field parking areas. It is very natural feeling, it does have a very natural feeling. You don't have paved parking pads or anything like that. But I think that's one of the best things about the campground. It has a real traditional feel to it. And you feel like you're out in, maybe not a state park, but in nature. And I love it here. It's a really nice place for families, for kids. And there's lots of great activities and things to do here. So definitely check it out. And if you aren't from the area and you decide to camp here, you're only a stone's throw away from the Catskill Mountains, and there are lots of great hikes and waterfalls, swimming holes, natural things that you can do in the area. So don't hesitate to use this as a home base and check out all of the other offerings in the region. It's gone. Good. So we are walking up Rondout Drive right now, back towards the woodland area. Just for your reference, we are on the back side of the playground area, the rec center, and up here we'll be walking past the pond that you'll get a chance to see. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of orientation to the area. Okay, so as we continue up Rondout Drive, okay, so as we continue up Rondout Drive towards the woodlands, you can see that we got back to the pond here. There are a number of sites right behind here that I believe are full hookup. These on this side over here are full hookup as well. Everything on the pool loop on the other side of the pond and all the way around, all of those are full hookup as well. But we're gonna just continue to loop here around the pond You have a few full hookup sites back in here, but then pretty much everything from where that road cuts through on up down the lane here is going to be just water and electric only. However, like I said, it's really worth getting into some of these quiet spots without solar if you can either take a tote to the dump station, wait until the end of your trip, or pay for the honey wagon, because you get some really nice spots here. And these are some of my favorites as well, right on the back side of the pond. You get some of the benefits of being by the water, but it's a little bit quieter on this side than versus the other side. So if these are open, and a lot of times these will be open, it's a great place to come. All right, and then up in here in this big grove here of pine trees, most of those sites are the tent sites. You can get an RV around the edges in a lot of those. They will fill up with a lot of RV sites during the peak of the summer. But for the most part, if you're here during the week and you want a nice, quiet, secluded spot, you see where that RV is in the very back? Head back there. You won't have any neighbors for almost the entire week during the weekdays. And it's definitely worth it. All right, well, let's make our way back to where we started. And definitely check out the map. There's a map in the link below on the write-up for the review for the campground. So it might actually be good to have that up on your phone or on another screen or print it out while you're doing watching the review of this, so you can get a sense of where it is that where I'm walking, and if I'm talking about a certain site and you really like it, you can mark it on there. But I really hope this helps, and I hope that if you are up in upstate New York, either if you're passing through or you want to make this to your destination, definitely check out the Rondout Valley RV Campground. It is my local campground, so I spend a lot of time here, but I would say it's probably, out of all the Thousand Trails campgrounds that I've gone to, one of my absolute favorites. And I feel pretty lucky that it is my local one, because I get to be here quite a bit when I'm not traveling. All right, so we're just wrapping back around on the back side of the activity center. You can see at the pool area up here. And we're back where we started for this first half of the campground walk. And I will be heading on over to the other side of the campground and show you the sites over there. So if you liked what you saw so far, you only saw half of the campground. All right, and stay tuned. Okay, we're gonna go up here and I'll show you guys the pool. Now, obviously we're in April, so the pool's not open. And it's never fun looking at a pool when it's not open, but this is it. It's a really nice pool, very clean. They opened it up on Memorial Day, and they have a lot of chairs and tables and everything out along the along the edges of the pool where you can sit and set up shop for the day. This is going to be the jump pad that should open up, I would say, probably in a few weeks. They have the volleyball net up. This whole area, I think, is kind of underutilized at the campground, because there's not a lot of people that come out and are doing stuff here, but it's nice to have. Got horseshoe pits down there. Shuffleboard, bocce ball. So as we walk up here, there are 3 rows of additional campsites. All of these are full hookups. There's still a lot of water on the ground from the flooding that we had about 4 days ago. These are all, I think most of these are annual sites along the water here. There's another stream that flows back on that side. Here we are, Sunset Avenue. Apologize about the sun in the video, but you have another row of campsites on both ends here. And then you have what is called Rally Field, another basketball court, and a really, really big field that honestly does not get used for anything here that I've seen. But it's a really nice place to come over and get the kids to run around. And if you had a large group and you want to do some type of pickup softball game or something like that, that's available. But that's a really nice open area. How's it good? Good. How are you? Good. This? No, just camera. Just getting some video of the campground. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. So here we have some other cool areas of camp. The only issue with here, I think this entire row, is just electric hookup, no sewer hookup. But you are at the very back side of the campground, so this is definitely very quiet. There's a nice pavilion over here you have access to. And if you look on top of the, the pavilion, you'll see some antennas. That is the in-campground Wi-Fi through CampLink, which in a pinch works. It's not great, it's not super fast, or very reliable. But for, I think, $15 a week, it's not that bad. And you can normally, like in the evening, stream Netflix or another streaming service if you need, and get okay service. It drops out every once in a while, but it is definitely better than nothing. Here's the field. Now, I know they're doing a lot of upgrades, and I'm curious to see if they're going to add solar hookups down in this area of the campground as well. A few years ago, they put in a lot of cottages and cabins, and they get used. They get rented out on a regular basis. But here's some of the newer ones that were put in. This is Meadow Lane. I really, really like camping over in this area as well. It definitely has like a nice quiet feel to it. So I'll go up around this end. There are quite a few annual sites up here, but scattered in there are a few rental sites that are really nice to get. Like, if the problem is, a lot of these sites that are kind of like the little gems of the campground are hard to reserve if you're just coming for like a 3-day weekend, because people like them and they take the sites if they're available. So if you do find one over here, you might get pretty lucky, and it's pretty enjoyable. Here you can see some of the annual sites, but it's always really quiet back here. These are the new cabins that they put in. And I wish I could take you in to see them, but I think they have some photos online, but they're all relatively new, within maybe 2 or 3 years old. So some of the sites here, I'm actually going to walk down through here since nobody's staying here now. But there are some really cool sites right in here that are up for rentals. And I've stayed in these couple of sites here a handful of times. And I'll just stop for a second and stop talking so you can hear just how quiet it is. It's really peaceful back here. Well, that's a pretty cool camper. The Alpha Wolf 2-door, full glass doors. Now, I think I can walk back here and show you. Right here, this is one of my favorite spots here. Just on the, as we're walking by, I'll point it out, but you have an annual site here, and then these 3 or 4 or 5 sites here are rentals. But right here, this is a really, really nice spot. And you are very close to the bathhouse if you want, which is right in here. But I want to walk back and show you the storage area. And you might be wondering, well, why am I going to look at a storage area? The reason being that they are closing down the storage area as of this year. And rumor has it that they're going to put in some additional sites back in here. There's a few on the end there, which are nice. So I think once they close down the storage area fully and they utilize this space for some sites, it's going to make a nice quiet area back here to camp. Now it's not ideal for me because I took advantage of the storage area. It was $2 a day and it was very convenient for just pulling in here, dropping off, and then easily picking it back up when you leave. But you'll see this is really at the very edge of the campground, and we'll make a nice camping area. And you're really far away from any activity that if you want somewhere quiet, you'll definitely get it. This is the maintenance facility. Here is the back lane that we were walking down before with the cabins. There are a few sites right in here that you can rent, which are very nice. Now, if you're listening to this, you're probably getting tired of me saying, this is a really nice site, this is a really nice site. But I think the take-home message there is that there's really a lot of really great places to camp here. And if you make some reservations to come here, it is first come, first serve. So you'll have to see what's available when you check in. But you have a lot of options. So you can definitely find a nice place to camp and not really have to worry about being scrunched in somewhere among 1,000 campers without any space. Dumpsters, there's dumpsters all over, which are convenient. How's it going? Good. How's it going? So if you, I know it's kind of really hard to orientate yourself, but here's the bathhouse, and here's that first lane that I showed you when I walked over onto the back side of the campground. Now, all of the campsites here are back-in only, except there's one pull-through site, which I really, really like. And it's this one right here. You are on the corner, you can pull right through, and you have a really big campsite. So $390 if you make a reservation and this is open and you want a really nice open area that you can pull through. There's no better spot than this right here. It's fantastic. Now there are some roads that go up through here, and all of this loops around back in here. But these are all annual sites and park models. Now, the other thing I'll mention, which maybe I'll walk back that way, just to orient yourself. Straight ahead is a pool, and then back this way is all of the park models, annual sites. Well, actually, maybe I won't. It might be a little bit muddy. But if you were to follow this road up and then it wraps around to the right here, it takes you back towards the woodland area on the back side of the pond. And if I kind of set up the camera here, you can see the tents on the other side of the stream over there. That's the very beginning of the woodland area where they have all of their tent camping. So I think we did it. I think that covers the entire campground. I know there's a few areas that I showed in the distance that I didn't really walk to, but this should give you a good sense of what to expect with Rondout Valley RV Campground.